Mr. Begley, members of the board, we do have several items for board discussion this evening. Our first item is some information about a food service position. I'll turn it over to Ms. Sauer.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Mr. Begley, members of the board, we wanted to give you some information in regards to our upcoming plans with reconfiguring some of our food service assistant positions. And as I share these changes with you, or these tentative changes, please note that the changes have absolutely zero impact on our general fund, as the food service fund is self-sustaining and will be covering these. So the basics of what we're wanting to do, we have 2 open 3-hour food service assistant positions at the high school, and we have 2 open 3-hour food service assistant positions at Compass Elementary. Those 4 positions have been unfilled for the past 3 to 5 years. What we would like to do is remove those 4 positions and replace them with 1 4-hour food service assistant position at the high school and 1 5-hour cook position at Compass Elementary. So as you think about making those changes, the benefits that come with that, the creation of these new positions would help us to provide better support in the buildings. It would help us to reduce our overtime and burnout of current employees who are picking up the slack for those positions having not been filled. And additionally, the 4- and 5-hour roles are much more desirable to possible candidates that we could have move into them, to new candidates, to incoming candidates there, and also promotional staff due to the extra pay and potential for the benefits in one of those 2 roles. Funding both of these positions, like I said, would have no impact on the general fund, and the food service fund is self-sustaining. The food service fund continues to operate in the black, and they can absorb these positions and the included benefits without any strain on their budget. So we wanted to share this with you because our goal is to hopefully post those 2 positions pretty quickly so we can find good quality candidates for them, but wanted to run that by you and see if you had any questions in regards to it before we did so.
Any concerns?
Sounds like it makes sense.
Great, thank you.
All right, our next item for board discussion, OSBA Board of Education Professional Development. I'd like to give the board the opportunity to discuss some professional development. For several of you, if you recall, we held a similar session back in December of 2019. The facilitator was Terry Morgan from OSBA, and I have actually contacted Terry Morgan, and she does have some availability. Would like for the board to consider this. I am proposing a Thursday, December 1st date. She is available on that particular evening. I chose December because we only have 1 board meeting scheduled that month, so I thought that would be nice rather than having 3 in 1 month. So again, proposing, ask you to consider Thursday, December 1st for that session. That would be the only item. The plan would be for that to be the only item on the agenda that evening. Some of the topics would include roles and responsibilities, governance, best practices, effective meetings, building team leadership, communications, ethics and trust, and strategic planning. Last time we held this, and like I said, December of 2019, we started at 5:30 p.m. and we brought some sandwiches, I believe, is what Mrs. Lane had arranged for us to have, since we started at 5:30 as opposed to 6:30, but certainly it's up to the discretion of the board in terms of that date and the time you'd like to start. So I'll turn it over to the board for consideration.
Yeah, I think this is an excellent idea for a board that strives to be a high-achieving board. I remember it being excellent training. If I'm not mistaken, it was the 3 of us that were. So Mr. Clark would be new to this. This would be Ms. Birding. So it's not just a repeat of what we did. It would be a chance to bring everyone up to speed, and I'm sure to engage in some new topics. So I see value in it. Other comments, thoughts?
Yeah, December sounds great. Thank you for thinking of a month where we had only 1 meeting already, so that would be fine.
Well, I think it's a great idea too. We'd like to have it in a different location than here at the community center, because we had it at one of the schools. I think it was the freshman building, and they had the redecorated.
They did.
It was really, it was pleasant, it was very pleasant. Could we do something like that again?
Yes, absolutely. I was going to propose, but certainly whatever the board prefers, we can do whatever you want. I'm looking at Mrs. Aug because we haven't had a meeting in the large conference room. Oh, don't worry, we're not going to have it in your office.
Start cleaning house.
Come on over.
We have not had a meeting at the large conference room at the administration building for quite some time, and it has been renovated. So I was going to propose that. However, if the board would like to go out and have the meeting in one of the schools, we can certainly do that as well. Totally up to the board. And maybe we can bring some decorations into the large conference. I can bring some down from my office.
Sounds like you're on it, I'm fine leaving it to your discretion.
What do you think about a time? I know 5:30 is early, so it's up to the board if you would like to try 5:30 or you'd like to keep the 6:30 time.
I'm a newcomer, I just said I'd love to attend. I think it's a great idea, and 5:30 is fine with me, wherever we want to meet.
Good? Okay. All right, great. So I will confirm with Terry Morgan and then get some additional details, and I will share those with the board as we move forward. All right, great. All right, our next two items, substitute teacher rates and board policies. At this time, I'll turn it over to Dr. Rice.
Thank you, Mr. Smith, Mr. Begley, and members of the board. The first item I have for discussion this evening, under item number 3, involves substitute pay. In your board packet, I have included a breakdown of our neighboring districts in both Butler and Warren County for your reference. We recently became aware that several of them have made, I don't want to say significant increases, but increases in their sub-pay. So in the interest of staying competitive, I would like to recommend the revision of substitute teacher rates as follows to $125 per day, so the daily rate. Days 21 and 40 in the same assignment would move to $135. Days 41 through 60 in the same assignment would move to $145 per day. Please let me know if you have any questions.
Comment, thank you for doing the research on that. I think it's important that we keep up with the constant move of pay. It's a wage war in every occupation out there, so I think it makes sense. We're doing well with teachers, and I've heard horror stories of other school districts and schools not being so fortunate, so I think it's worth doing, and thank you for doing research on it. I support it.
Yeah, I would tend to agree. We're not trying to buy substitutes here, but we do need to be competitive. We need to be where the other schools are, and I'm hopeful that House Bill 353 was passed by the governor and is enacted September 21st, I think, will allow an influx, hopefully, of substitute teachers, and they see Fairfield as a desirable district to come and serve. Thank you for doing the work.
Absolutely. I will continue with board policy discussion under items number 4. Under letter A, we have for you tonight for discussion policy BJA, Liaison with School Boards Association. This goes back to April of last year, where the OSBA and 21 other founding school board associations signed a resolution to officially form the Consortium of State School Board Associations. We love our acronyms. I'll pronounce it COSPA. I don't know if that's right or not. This is similar to OSB, a group of districts that will get together or a group of states, boards that will get together and provide professional development opportunities, learning opportunities, those sorts of things. And planning is already underway for a full complement of professional development. This policy has been updated to reflect OSB's status as a current member, so we just need to update our policy to reflect that as well. Any questions over that one? Under letter B, policy DN, school property disposal procedure. This comes from House Bill 110, which made significant changes to the current law on how school districts are permitted to dispose of unused school property. And inside that law, it defined for us what disposable property is. And this deals more with buildings and spaces, physical spaces. So it talks about any real property that has been used by the school district for school operations, including but not limited to, academic instruction or administration since July 1st of 1998, but has not been used in the last year. It also talks about any school building that has been used for direct academic instruction, but less than 60% of that building was used for the purpose of in the preceding year. So this policy sets further procedures for how to sell off these assets if a district were to desire so. Any questions about that one?
I actually have a question, and I didn't get a chance to go through it like word for word. Maybe this question's more appropriate for John, I don't know. But does this apply to like the parcel of land that we have out in the township?
I don't believe so, no.
Okay. Okay.
Everything I've read, it's physical structure.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Any other questions about that? Under letter C, policy GDBE, classified staff vacations and holidays. So this goes back to House Bill 110 that it addressed the addition of Juneteenth as a legal holiday in several different sections of Ohio Revised Code. What this policy update deals with are 9 and 10-month employees versus 11 and 12-month employees, because the way the law was originally written is 9 and 10-month employees would be due this day as well. So this just clarifies the difference between those two for this added holiday. Any questions about GDBE? And then under letter D, policy IJA, career advising, Ohio Revised Code requires each Board of Education adopt a policy on career advising. It lists several requirements with which the resulting career advisory policy must comply. So it talks about things like speaking to students about certificated programs, associate's degrees, bachelor's degrees, graduate programs. It also talks specifically about talking with students specifically about ROTC programs, College Credit Plus programs, Ohio Guaranteed Transfer Pathways, or dual enrollment opportunities. I'm excited to say and pleased to say that our guidance counselors, our academic counselors have already been doing all of these for several years, so it is not a new policy for us. Any questions about IJA?
Of course, career technical education is part of that as well. So it's to be something we're offering and talking about.
Absolutely.
Our friends at Butler Tech will appreciate that.
And our last policy this evening for discussion is under letter E, policy JFCA, student dress code. Senate Bill 181 prohibits any school or interscholastic activities, conference, or organization from restricting the ability of participants to wear religious apparel during interscholastic athletics or extracurricular activities. In plain terms, this bill makes it more challenging for a district or athletic organization to restrict the wearing of head coverings, jewelry, or other clothing related to the practice of a sincere held religious belief. So it even talks further in this one that old policy said if a student wanted to challenge it, district could have a right to say no. This puts some parameters in place that makes that even a little bit more difficult. And I think we're in good shape with that as well. So are there any questions about that policy?
No, thank you.
Great. And this concludes all the items I have for discussion under policy.